Yeah, the off season really feels like we don't believe Joel Embiid's going to stay healthy, but also they want George and Embiid to prove that they can stay healthy, and then maybe at the deadline they'll actually make an all-in move. But that news yesterday from the Paul George, I was thinking of the starting lineup. Who do I want to start? And when I saw that, like I was kind of debating, do I want VJ to start right away? Because I could see a scenario with a rookie where he struggles and then he's benched and
Yeah.
then that affects his confidence. But I don't know. I look at VJ and I feel like he's not affected by that stuff. He just seems like that type of dude. I need VJ to start. I'm gonna be real. Like after the Paul George news, I'm like, just throw him into the fire, put him next to Grimes and Maxi, and see what you got. Do you want VJ to start right away, or do you even think that's possible? I doubt it's gonna happen because Nick Nurse, but yeah.
My thing with that is like we're already one of the smaller teams in the NBA. Like if we put Paul George at the 4, we're going to be small at that position. If we put Grimes at the 3, we're going to be small at that position. The backcourt is fine for your average backcourt, but when you're playing around wings that are undersized positionally, like at a minimum, at least Oubre has very long arms. Like Oubre is someone at least has like a 7'2", 7'3" wingspan and can get into passing lanes and kind of muck things up. I think I would ease VJ into it. I wouldn't be shocked if VJ struggles a lot on offense as a rookie. Like, I think that he's someone that will thrive with NBA spacing, but there's still kinks in his game that he has to iron out. Like the finishing is a very obvious one. The way that he leaps is something that he needs to figure out moving forward. We saw the handle already look better in summer league. Like he only had probably 2 or 3 times in that whole game where it looked a little bit loose and he lost the ball on an action. But in general, that's something when he gets to play against NBA defenders, like he probably will have to learn how to fine tune the handle, make sure the offhand is a little bit better. And I think that you always drafted VJ because I think that we're moving into this era of the NBA where possession battles matter more than ever. And I think he's someone who's going to get steals and blocks. He's someone who's going to be a good rebounder for a guard. He's going to be someone that can, play into the passing lanes. He's going to be someone that is just a good all-around role player as a young player, especially if the shot falls. And then you're betting on the long-term outcomes for him, which is in the exhibition matches we've seen him play, whether it was with the Bahamas or the Sixers in Summer League, you see these glimpses of almost like a smaller Jimmy Butler style player. And if you look at a Jimmy Butler when he came into the league, he was someone who had to earn his way onto the court. Like my big reason why I didn't want Ace Bailey is because I don't think he's going to want to do those things. And the thing with VJ is like, I think he's going to do whatever the team needs him to do, whether that's start, whether that's come off the bench, whether that's play as a role player, whether that's taking the hardest guard matchup on a given night, whether that's rebounding. He's going to do all of that stuff. And I think he's going to be like an impactful player probably by year 2 or 3. And the large majority of rookies, even in right context, are not impact players as rookies. I wouldn't want to throw VJ into the fire right away. I would say let Grimes start, kind of let him play into his role. And then hell, if he plays and he performs at a high level and you think you can get away with it, then go for it. Because I think we might come down to the thing with this team going into next year is I know they have a few guys who are quote unquote good defensively, but like I think VJ is probably still going to struggle defensively just because he needs to put on more weight and strength. I think that we're going to be undersized in most matchups. And I think especially when one of Paul George or Joel Embiid are out, we're going to have to just try to outscore teams. Like we're just going to have to try to run a ton, get a Dembona out there, try to win the possession battle as much as we can. Kind of similar to like the 2022 Pacers when they first got Tyrese Halliburton and they were just, running and gunning, or the Kings from a few years ago. Like we're going to have to be a team that is built around creation, spacing, and possession battle stuff. Like I don't think that we're going to be a team that stops a ton of teams. Even if Joel Embiid's back, like I don't expect Joel Embiid to be 100% and exerting all of his energy on defense. So like I would prefer just to lean towards like, let's try to get out running. Let's try to be like the young, fun team that can outscore teams. And then we'll figure out the rest of the stuff later. I'm really just starting to look towards the future with this team because I don't know how else to approach it.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you mentioned Jimmy Butler as a comp. VJ, his mentality and play style really reminds me of a smaller Jalen Brown because the handle issues, obviously, but like both of those players and what we saw in the one summer league game with VJ, it seemed like they don't know that they have a bad handle. Like they're going to continue to just
Sure.
attack, and then if they play a guy that needs to be guarded, like you saw Jalen Brown take the Luka matchup in the finals, he was all hype about it. VJ will be the same exact way, like just the mentality and kind of the same type of weaknesses. They're relentless downhill and just relentless, like all over the floor, just high
Yep.
motor. VJ, I'm very excited for, and he really impressed me in the first summer league game. And I think you mentioned that the defense is going to be putrid. The rebounding is going to be terrible. That's kind of
Mhm.
why I'm leaning towards maybe start him, but definitely easing him into it isn't a bad idea because we saw with McCain, we eased him into it and he proved that he should be getting more minutes.
Maxey and McCain are two of the best off-ball guards in the NBA, and I feel like
Exactly.
putting them on the ball all the time is not necessarily maximizing them as well. Like I definitely want both of them to be on the ball. The thing I like about both of them is that I think that one, they're like you said, they don't have egos, like they're gonna do whatever it takes for the team to succeed. But like specifically with McCain, I would like to see them try to build more sets. One of the things that I just don't think that Nick Nurse did well last year was like figure out a way, especially when Joel Embiid wasn't available, to get both of those guys into the right spots to succeed for them. I had a tweet from probably December, January, where I was like, the Sixers' entire offense is just Nick Nurse yelling at Paul George and Maxey to cook their ass. Like
Yeah.
that feels like what their offense became at a lot of times when like you have these two guys who could be weaponized, not just on the ball, but also off the ball. So like have them run guard on guard screens when they play together. Run more dribble handoffs for those guys when they're off the ball. Know that McCain can find space when like even if Maxey and Joel are doing their two-man action, like McCain will find the right place to be on the court, whether he's cutting and finding a guy with a connective pass or he's relocating into space so he's open for three and he's within their vision. Like he's just such a smart player and an adaptable player that I feel like there's really no way that you can misuse him because he just always figures out a way to be effective even if he doesn't have the ball, which is very rare for a young guard.
Yeah, I really think the success of this team really depends on how good can they get their offense, like you were kind of hinting at earlier. Because imagine a world you got McCain and Maxey going against a bench unit, and they're just flying around screens. Like
Yep.
that's gonna tire defenses out, and then they're hitting threes. And when I was watching film on Maxey and McCain lineups, they were really good when they did get a stop, just
Mhm.
pushing the pace, 3-pointer, just like that. And like that stuff will help your defense. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what they got. They got to get the offense because that's the strength of this team. And I'm really excited to see just Maxey and McCain out there. I know like there's some Sixers fans who are like, move on from Maxey. They're gonna have to pick one of them. And I'm just like, I just want to watch them on the court together because
Right.
they're such a joy to watch. And they're both crazy 3-point shooters. And like last season, Maxey was just on ball. Like they ran him like Harden. It's like, what are we doing? He struggles playmaking wise. We got to get both of them off the ball, like you mentioned. And that's a fun thing. If Embiid is healthy, it's kind of like the Seth Curry. Like McCain reminds me of Seth Curry when he runs the actions with Embiid. But the thing is, McCain's just on another tier from
Yep.
Seth Curry. So I think
He's some
potentially,
honestly, I gotta say Kevin O'Connor might have cooked with this comp where he said he's somewhere in between Steph Curry and Seth Curry. That was his
yeah.
comp for the draft. And I'm like, that's kind of true. Like he has the relocation and smart. He's not obviously as fast or good of a shooter as Steph is. No one ever will be, but he's kind of in between those two in that like he plays with the pace that Seth played with as a scorer and knows how to play off of a guy like Joel Embiid in a dribble handoff, but also when he doesn't have the ball is constantly looking for the right place to be, is constantly moving and understands that's the thing that defenses never really keep up with. You always want to keep a defense scrambling and he knows how to make that defense scramble and he knows how even when he is relocating off the ball and they recover, he knows then how to take advantage of that when he gets the ball. He's not just looking to go up and score right away. He's always looking for the next pass or what the right play is. And he's a very underrated processor. I feel like he processes the game maybe the fastest of anyone on this Sixers team right now.